Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice.
I mean, we all knew the mandates were coming. Why are we even surprised? So we are here. It is 4:30 in the morning, and it is August 16th. And here we are. I was reading an article on theinfatuation.com, and it's talking about vaccine mandates are coming for indoor dining. How New York restaurants are preparing. So new vaccine requirements starting August 16th. You will be required to provide proof of COVID vaccine vaccination for indoor dining, indoor fitness, indoor entertainment, and performances. Wow. Employees at locations offering these activities are also required to be vaccinated. Further, as of August 2nd, all New York City government hires must be vaccinated against COVID-19. There is no testing alternative for people who are not vaccinated. Well. I can't say that I'm surprised because a lot of people don't want to do the minimum for keeping themselves safe. Let me be clear. I do support people's choice to be vaccinated. I do not necessarily think that you should be forced to be vaccinated. There are certain jobs that I do think it is expected, things like teachers and policemen and doctors and things like that. I think that's just expected that you would be vaccinated. And I think that in a situation like that, where it is mandated that you must, in those instances, yes, I absolutely believe in those instances. As far as the everyday citizen just living life, I do believe it should be a choice, but I also believe that if you are choosing not to be vaccinated, that you should be more responsible. You should be wearing your masks. You should be social distancing. You should be using hand sanitizer, Lysol, whatever the things that are going to, minimize your risk. No, nothing is 100%. There's no vaccination that's 100%. There is no secret pill that's 100%. There's no spray that's 100%. I know people are coming out with all these different things. Nothing is 100%. I know that people keep saying, oh, what's the point of getting vaccinated? It's not 100%. Well, I think it's important to note that being vaccinated could mean saving your life. And for the majority of people who are in the hospitals right now who are severely ill, most of them are unvaccinated. Most of them. The overwhelming majority of them are unvaccinated. Now, are there always going to be anomalies to that? Of course. Of course. There will always be people that are vaccinated, that have been exposed to COVID, contracted, and things don't, go well for them. Obviously, everybody's system is different. Everybody's underlying health issues that they may have are different. Some people are allergic to certain ingredients and things like that, of which maybe vaccines may be a trigger for. We don't know all the underlying issues for different people's situations. But the overwhelming majority of people who have been sick, not just contracting COVID, but have been physically sick and having severe symptoms, has been unvaccinated folks. So we got to look at the science in this situation. Are all of our scientists exact on every single thing? They are but human people, and they're going to make mistakes. And yes, some of the mistakes will be costly. This is a new variant that we have going on, and they have to learn it, and they have to, try to figure out what the best thing is, to be able to combat it. We don't want these mutations to keep going so strong until the vaccines that we do have are no longer valid. So that is the reason why you see a lot of the pushing of the vaccine or whatever. But again, I am definitely not an anti-vaxxer, and I do believe that people have freedom of choice, but there has to be freedom of choice with responsibility. Can you go out in the middle of the street and yell about how much you hate the government? Of course you can. But then you become a target for so many different things. You know what I'm saying? Can you go yell at someone and say you hate them and cuss them? Yeah. But they may come back and want to punch you in the mouth. So there's, freedom of speech, freedom of choice, and all of that are amazing things. But when it comes to things such as this, there is also common sense, There's also common sense. So as the kids are going back to school, well, I'm in the South, so kids have already returned to school. They've been back to school for about a week now. I know in New York, most of the kids go back after Labor Day. And, that's right around the corner. So I really hope that, I know that there's been conflicting information here and there, but when I think back, several months ago when the vaccines didn't exist and all we had was masks and social distancing and, a few curfews here and there, the numbers started to drop tremendously of infected people. But I think people got bored. I think people just were tired of being in the house and tired of being quote unquote told what to do, and they started getting lax, and that's where things started slipping through the cracks here and there. And you can't stop them. There are people that have been very careful the whole time, and somehow it slipped through, because that's what we're dealing with. You could be around somebody in your own home that has a cold, and you've done everything to stay away from them and still get the cold. This is how viruses work, There's never any guarantee. But if there is a way to lower your risk even more, we know that COVID is an extremely asymptomatic virus, which actually I think, in my opinion, makes it even worse, because so many people have it and don't even know, because they have zero symptoms. And while that could be a positive thing, obviously we don't want people to be sick, it also doesn't indicate when you are sick. So people who are more compromised will be, that they'll be within 2 or 3 people that may be compromised but don't know, because most people who get COVID do not have any symptoms, which, like I said, should be a positive thing. But if you're immunocompromised and you're around someone who is asymptomatic, now that turns into a lot of problems. So that's why masks are so important, and that's why social distancing where you can is so important. If you choose to have the vaccine, the vaccination that works for you, then do that, But if you're choosing not to take the vaccine, then you have to be smart. And just because it's been a year and a half and you never caught COVID, this is not the time to be lax. This is not the time to, think that we can just skirt around things, because this variant is out here and it's strong. And until you've had someone in your life be fighting for breath and on a ventilator and having to have the horrible, news delivered to you that they are no longer in this life because of this global virus that we've been dealing with. It's just the most hurtful thing. Until you've gone through it, you just will not understand that pain. So I know that many people have dealt with that, and don't take it lightly. And if you've had COVID and had no symptoms and everything was, quote unquote fine, that is not the message to spread to people that, oh, everything was fine, you'll be fine, because everybody is different and everybody has not been fine. Don't take these numbers because they're so low, of infection rates or whatever, or asymptomatic rates are so high to take it as just, like it's nothing, because this is definitely something, and it has devastated so many businesses. You go to different parts of different downtown areas, and so many businesses are boarded up. It really is unbelievable. I've seen strips and strips of places in New York where businesses have not come back, especially in the restaurants. I was just watching a video of a family who is from Seattle, and they went downtown Seattle for a family event, and they said it's so weird because downtown is usually so bustling, and they walked by an entire row of businesses that were shuttered, and it's really sad. It's really sad because we're a year and a half into this, a little bit more than a year and a half, and it has been very tough. It's very tough. Flu season is coming back around again. We're already halfway through August. Flu season is creeping up on us before we know it. The fall, in another month or so, we'll be going into the fall season. So we got to be smart. So whatever choice that you make, it is your choice. Right now, most places are not forcing, vaccinations, but if we don't follow the little rules that we have right now as far as social distancing and masking, you're going to see a whole lot more forced mandates, I suspect, because, people, they're tired, and people don't want to lose revenue from their businesses and all of that. And most businesses, to be real, most businesses that exist, especially here in America, are small businesses. So small businesses are falling by the wayside so much because especially the brick and mortar businesses. I know a lot of businesses have been started since the pandemic because people have pivoted, but a lot of brick and mortar businesses have not been able to sustain, losing this amount of revenue. So just be smart. Be smart. And I think if we think more in a village mentality, if we think more on a global scale, I think that we will be better off. We have to start thinking like an entire community of people instead of it's just all about me and, that kind of thing. I think if we do that and we look out for each other, I think we can turn this around again, because we did get those numbers down tremendously when no vaccine existed, just by masking up and social distancing and washing our hands on a regular basis. It made a major impact. But now these numbers are climbing up again because of this variant that's out here, and people are getting more comfortable, and outside is opening up, and that's going to be a whole lot. So just be smart. If you feel like you want to have more conversation about it, maybe I'll talk a little bit more of my personal experience, through this whole pandemic, and feel free to contact me at Onyx Queen Media on all socials. And you can also email me, info@onyxqueenmedia.com. Mask up and be safe, you guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.